very excited today to bring you just a very unique and talented influencer and athlete. Her name's Heba Ali, and just 22 years old, but already making tremendous headway into the fitness market and helping inspire people to become their best. And we wanted to welcome you to the podcast today, Heba.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to share more about my philosophy, my concept and training, and hopes of everyone who's tuning in to gain some insights and benefit from it.
Absolutely, and we know they will. You're already influencing so many people around the world, and actually, on that note, you're from Jordanian descent, or were you raised there? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually am an identical twin sister, and I have an identical twin sister, and we were born in Jordan, but raised here in America. My mom had her delivery early, so we weren't there for too long. I would say like a year to 2 years, and then we came here, and so I was raised really in America.
All right, we're in back east, I understand, New Jersey area, or
New Jersey. Yeah, I've lived in New Jersey my whole life, but I started traveling about 2 years ago. So I've been in every single state in the country. So right now I'm living in California.
Oh, that's great. That was a recent move to California?
Yeah, beginning of this year.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's exciting is that every successful athlete that we've interviewed or met, or successful person in business, they always have this story. They always have this thing that ignited their soul and got them going. And to hear that yours is because there was a niche. You felt that. You wanted something yourself, and it wasn't there, so you're providing that now, is just very inspirational. So we enjoy that passion. And is that what's led into Evolve Nation? I understand you're the CEO of and started Evolve Nation.
Yeah, but to touch on the point you just made about being a provider, I think that has to do far more than just like your passion in regards to what your purpose is. And I feel like my being a provider for myself definitely derived from my childhood and being raised with a single mom and having to grow up at a very, very early age. I was working at 13 and taking on responsibilities most people in their childhood years and young teenage years don't take on. So I think that your character, your upbringing, and how, I mean, I was in a survival mode, how that translates into your goal achievements in the future. And so I feel like that's why, because really, if you think of it, running isn't important, right? But when you are constantly being a provider of certain things, like that's where your ambition comes from. So I wanted to throw that out there because I think your upbringing has a lot to do with your ambition and drive.
Absolutely.
But yes, Evolve Nation is the company.
Right. Well, here at Ironman, working with people for decades, and that we've really learned to understand that there's a key factor that many people don't focus in on enough when they're really trying to develop their body and develop their mind. And it's the mind-muscle connection how we explain it. And being able to make that connection to get greater gains, greater benefit from the same amount of work. And I understand that you're really into the mental psychology of fitness, a little bit different angle. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So when it comes to the psychology that I like to integrate into what I do, and it's honestly the biggest component of what I do and what makes me stand out as a trainer, is I find a way of, like, I've already established that I'm a great trainer. I can give you the physical transformation. That's pretty generic by now. But my challenge comes with tapping into the way my clients think, the way people think, seeing where their struggles are, and making those habitual changes that are going to allow them to sustain the progress that they achieve with me. So if you are able to achieve X, Y, and Z, but in a month you're going to go back to your point zero, then what was the point of this? So I think it's crucial for trainers and for individuals, whoever they are, to be aware of what the habitual changes are that they're making, because that character is going to be molded into the discipline you need to achieve whatever it is, whether it's your physical body, a career, like whatever it is, it's going to be driven based off of the character you're building. So psychology plays a huge role because you can help someone with their character. You know what I mean? Someone who says, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, that's not a specific goal. You need to rephrase that in a way where I need to cut out unnecessary tasks for my day so that I can do this. I need to change this habit. I need to do that. On a day-to-day basis, doing this is what's going to give that person the longevity, evolution of their goal.
That's great. And that's the absolute truth. I mean, it all comes down to self-discipline, setting your habits right. And we're so excited that that is your focus, because it's one of the missing links. And nowadays we can train many different ways, as you'd mentioned, to accomplish the goal, but it's that ongoing effect that's the most important. So tell us a little bit about the hybrid training and what you're doing now, and really what you would like the readers and listeners of Ironman to know about with hybrid training.
So the hybrid training that I implement derived from the training program I put myself through in track, because I had to be super fast and sustain strength for this. I needed to sustain that and then also be not too heavy so that I can do the long run. So my training derived from that, it encompasses bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength conditioning, functional training, basically anything that's unorthodox. You know, like, I mean, you do have those components which are all important. So I like to accessorize all of the training styles together. But the main objective of hybrid training is to provide like alternative exercises to repetitive movements that you do in a gym. Like, one, they're more enjoyable, and two, they're more effective. So the main objective is to do this and also keep the human body functional.
So tell me a little bit about, when people talk about hybrid training, a lot of times people automatically go towards CrossFit. Tell us the difference between, you know, the bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit, and what hybrid training is.
Okay, so there's several definitions for hybrid training. In the CrossFit world, it's bodybuilding and powerlifting. And CrossFitters actually do like a really great job with implementing hybrid training because they're super strong and they're highly conditioned. And it's hard to have the two.
Right.
But one area that they can lack in, and this is just in my opinion because I've done every training style, it's the functionality, it's the agility, it's there's so many sports components that come into at least my style of hybrid training that differentiates from CrossFit. So CrossFit does have the strength, the power, the conditioning, but the functionality is on a whole nother level with my style of hybrid training. I implement mobility, agility, coordination, reactive training. Reactive training is training your body to react in every plane of motion. And this is super helpful for athletes, especially on the field when they're going against a component and they have to turn in a way. Like, if your body isn't prepared for that, you're going to tear something. So that's the biggest difference between the two.
That's really good. You know, I've worked with a lot of NBA teams over the years, and one of the main things that each team did, they had to create their own training, was that type of reactive training. In other words, tell the athletes what to do without them knowing what's coming up, to be able to make the muscles in the body react. And I love to hear that you've actually created some programs to help with that. So how would people learn more about hybrid training?
It depends on who they're learning from. If you're going to a powerlifting dominant website, you're going to a CrossFit dominant website, you're going to learn their philosophy based around that sport, because hybrid training can cater to a specific sport. And so it depends on the person's goals and objectives. If you're looking to compete in CrossFit, then you might want to go to a website that primarily caters that training around that. For me, the hybrid training that I implement for people's life, I'm no longer competing for anything. But this style of training helps me a lot because it keeps me very adaptive. Whenever, especially, I'm dealing with an injury, I have so many other avenues of training that I can do that can keep my body growing strong. And so the hybrid training is more, it's more of a strengthening as it is as a preventative for injuries. So I like to implement it as a lifestyle training so that you could be a well-rounded athlete.
That's great. Well, how would people get hold of you right now if they're interested in hybrid training from Heba?
On my website, I do run challenges and programs. There's information on hybrid training and what it entails specifically, from the training styles to the components within those training styles. But one of my programs you're going to have all elements in it, because I believe that's the proper way to train. I don't want my clients to gain strength but not be able to move. I don't want my clients to be super fast but have no muscle. So it's really important for me to implement this in all my programs, so it should be expected. Um, I definitely have bodybuilding, powerlifting, and functional strength training in every program I put out online as a digital product, and it can be found on my website.
That's awesome. So to finish up on the Ironman podcast, we always go through an acronym we use to help everyone understand that be the best you can be is about balance. And we use the acronym FITNESS, each letter representing a different part of our program. So I'm going to fire a few questions at you really quick and give us some quick, short answers, okay?
Got it.
All right. So fitness, the FIT of fitness stands for focused, intense thought. What is the main tool to create that mind-muscle connection that Heba follows?
You cut off 2 times.
It cut off? Let's start again. Let me back up. Let me check with Hunter. We okay? All right. So the FIT of fitness stands for focused, intense thought. So what does Heba do to really create the mind-muscle connection?
She focuses on the task at hand.
Stay focused on the task at hand. That's a good one.
When it comes to your attention, to really give your attention to something in psychology, your mind can only do it one thing at a time. Fully. Good point.
Great one. Okay. And the N of fitness stands for nutrition. What's the number one most important nutrition rule in your opinion?
Modification.
Explain that a little bit.
I believe that we benefit from a lot of nutrients from different types of foods, and everything in moderation will be okay. I think that there's a huge misconception online that, protein is so good for you, but if you overeat protein, then you're doing your body a disservice. And if you're under eating healthy fats and carbs, then you're also doing your body a disservice. So nothing has a bad reputation in my eyes. Carbs, fats, and proteins are all useful for the body to function in its mechanisms that it's supposed to, and moderation.
Excellent. I think the world needs to hear more of that. The E of fitness stands for exercise. How often do you exercise?
Every day. But don't take this in the wrong way, because I'm not, an overtrainer or somebody that is, exercising to deteriorate my body, but I exercise in a way, meaning I have active rest days. I'm doing proactive therapy, and that's still considered exercising, but I'm doing things to allow my body to recover faster.
That's great. About how much time would you say you spend a day in some form of exercise therapy, rehabilitation, whatever it might be?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Awesome. Okay. Then the S and S of fitness stands for specific supplementation. Do you believe in supplements? If so, what's some of your favorite?
This is a tricky question. I believe in supplements, but I believe you don't need them. So does it help? Yes. Do you need it? No. My favorite supplements, I'm going to have to say, is protein powder because of the convenience. Mm-hmm. Again, high quality protein powder. I get a lot of my sources from food, but when it comes to supplements, I would say protein and my daily vitamins of, vitamin E, A, D. I'm really an over-the-counter type of person. I don't try to have my body get used to BCAAs or pre-workout. So I'm just going to go with protein powder because it's convenient.
No, that is great. And I think a lot of people don't understand that supplementation means just that it's to supplement the diet. And if the diet, your nutrition isn't on, really, it's not going to do you much good. So we love your insight on that.
That was a good point. I like that.
So, hey, we're really thankful for your inspiration, your drive to create programs to improve health, not just physically, but I love the aspect of improving it mentally and the habits that are so important for people to follow and to address those issues that aren't the easiest to address, but you've understood the importance of it. And it's just very inspiring. And I was just talking to the staff about getting with you to see what we could do in some upcoming issues. And they said you're like traveling the world soon to Egypt or something. I mean, why don't you close off by telling us what you have in store for this coming year?
Yes, I have a retreat. I'm going to be teaching in Greece in June, and then I'm going to be teaching and doing a tour in the Middle East for 3 months. Most of that will be in Egypt. I was there last summer and it was the best time of my life, but it's because of like the human element and, the quality of life they have out there. It's very different. And then I'm going to be teaching a retreat in Bali at the end of August. And then in September, I'll go back to Vegas for the Olympia Expo. But my traveling around the world will be for like the next 5 months. I am in my last semester to graduate from college. So by September, I need to be back in Jersey so that I can complete my courses and walk graduation.
Oh, wow. That's a crazy schedule. Well, maybe we'll meet up with you in Greece. We're going to be in Greece in June for the PMBA World Championships, the tested championships for bodybuilding. But gosh, you're just such an inspiration. We thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to meeting up with you and even some future issues of Ironman.
I look forward to it, and we'll touch base on Greece. Maybe we'll be out there at the same time.
Sounds great. Take care. Thank you.
Take care.